talk to me a little bit about kind of what's going on at TiVo today and sort of where things are going with TiVo.
Okay, so TiVo basically utilizes its data assets, so all the viewership data that it collects from its MVPD licenses, so its operators and the TiVo devices, and we make that data available within our platform for measurement analytics, as well as for targeting, but targeting not just on linear, but also on nonlinear. And so more and more agencies are coming to us and saying, look, we need to target our viewers on CTV or on nonlinear devices. How do we create a target and then export that out as part of a segment? That may be in combination with additional data like political data, or it may be in combination with location data. I'm looking for people who are movie goers who watch horror movies because I have an upcoming horror show coming, to film, and I want to target those people. So there's a lot of that combination there that's happening today. Also, the whole concept of exposed and unexposed ads. So like if you're looking about frequency, we talked a lot about that today on the panel. It's like how much frequency, how do you measure frequency? And so what if I went to linear and I take all of the people who are exposed to my ad, how do I then either retarget them because they didn't hit their frequency goals, or how do I find those viewers who I wanted to target but are light TV viewers and I didn't actually find them on TV? And how do I go and actually do that? And so they take our data for retargeting purposes, for attribution purposes, for connected TV targeting.
So that all sounds actually amazingly sophisticated. Is that becoming the norm for advertisers and agencies to want to do those kinds of things, or is it still sort of edge cases?
I think as the audience stuff is definitely trying to come into play. Like we've been in the audience business for a long time, kind of waiting for this to actually grab hold of on the industry. And I think for the first time now we're seeing people are really buying into the concept of advanced TV buying, and advanced TV being all platforms of TV, right? And they're really taking that concept of, I don't care what screen I'm on, I want to apply targeting to it.
And we talked a little bit on the panel about some cool things that you guys are looking at in terms of frequency, in terms of tune in and tune out. Can you just talk about some of the neat analytics that TiVo can do?
Yeah, because we have that second by second viewership data, we're able to really look at who was exposed to an ad, who watched the promo, how do a particular ad pod actually translate into retention, right? So people today are really looking at how do I get my audience engaged? How do I compete with Hulu, who has no ads, or Netflix, who has no ads? And how do I maintain those viewers? And so what if I shorten my pods to 30-second spots, or just an A and a Z pod, right? What's the audience retention over that time period? People who are leaving my program, where are they going? Are they coming back? How long do they come back? Like that type of information is so readily available today that you can actually go and ask those questions of the data and have those answers so that it can really drive forward, future planning, right? And we talked about sort of that concept of, hey, there's planning, there's measurement, and there's attribution, but they're all very much in parallel, right? If I plan, I create my target, I will most likely model that target today because I want to get the scale that I need to find those viewers on other platforms. But is that model target actually effective? The only way to know that is to start looking at attribution. And so during that course of that campaign, I want to go back and say, okay, of that model segment, who actually converted? And look at those converted viewers and how did they score against that model target to begin with? So was my model effective, right? Like there's so many different questions and measurements and evaluations that need to happen that are just iterative across the process. And so I don't think you can look at things in a silo. I think it has to be this sort of iterative process, and we'll get there, but we're just not challenging ourselves there enough, right? I have a model segment, I'm good, I'm to go, right? Is that model correct? Who knows, right? Like, yeah, well, was the attribution, but was that because I didn't find the right people? Was it because I hit them too many times, I didn't get them enough reach, or did I just simply have the wrong target to begin with, right? And so it's like there's lots of questions, right? And we have to start really challenging ourselves on that.
It makes me think, is it because we're not sort of set up structurally to have this sort of formal test and learn approach in television the way we have?
That there's just, I think it's a wildfire right now. There's so many questions and technology frictions out there, right? Even looking at connected TV, right, and targeting on connected TV, right? There's no uniform device IDs for smart TVs, right? We have IP addresses. If you have a device, it's fine because you have the Apple ID or the Android ID, but for smart TVs, there isn't any, right? So there's a lot of technological challenges right now. So I think there's just so many questions of like, how do I do identities across the different platforms, right? How do I translate my data from one to the other, right? It's just there, and then obviously then there's the partnerships, right? So this is a lot of collaboration because nobody has or very few players have all the pieces that they need to independently. So I don't think that people aren't asking the right questions yet. I think it's just that there's so many questions and so many problems to be solved that we're just not there yet, right? And so we'll get there, but there's a lot ahead. And there's a lot of opportunity. So I mean, it's a great space to be in right now.
Well, so that begs the next question, which is, you know, what change would you most like to see in the industry? Like, what are you excited about or frustrated about that you just want to see happen?
I guess I'm really just excited about the fact that there's so much opportunity here, right? Like, we have not solved the advertising concept, you know, at all, between the cross screens, across platforms, even the target creation, and making sure that we've identified that correctly. We've been talking about advanced TV for so long, but have we really spent a lot of time making sure that we have the right target? You know, that first party data comes in, that makes a lot of sense. The third party data, how do you combine that effectively with TV? Contextual, like, I think there's a lot of great things happening right now in the space, so I'm excited to be part of it.